What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another Monday live stream. My name is Guillaume, and apparently I don't describe enough what I'm doing here. A lot of people were complaining that I do not explain what this channel or this show is about, so I'm a live sound engineer. I like to teach about live sound and the Wing console. It's the one that I have in my basement, laying around doing my stuff. And I also do some vlog, and basically we're going to talk about anything that has to do with live sound engineering and the Wing too. I'm really on both platforms right now, and I try to make this channel a little bit of an hybrid between both things because they're connected but also separated at the same time. And I believe for the more longevity of this channel, talking about everything that has to do with live sound other than just restricted myself with the Wing is a more viable option. So first, let me read the comment and say, hi everybody, thanks for everyone who showed up today. Let me get my chat out here in my little prompter over there and say hello to, who was the first one today? Dallas Sound Guy. What's up, man? You've been around for an hour already. Thanks for hanging out before the live stream. Other than that, I have Will from Kansas City. I'm going to get back to your question in a few minutes. What's up, Mike from Poland? What's up, Andy? Bonjour, Benoit. Also, don't hesitate if you have any questions in French. I'm more than happy to help you guys. If you have a question in French and can I get the answer in English, I will take some time during the show and try my best to answer your question in your preferred language if I'm speaking that language, which is a quote. So by the way, I just speak French and English. It's more than fine for me. So other than that, who do we have? We have Bubba Z. Hey Bubba, what's up, man? Guys, stick around. You maybe see a new video, unexpected video this week with Bubba, where we're gonna talk about something really, really cool that I've set my hands on a couple of times, but never had the pleasure to have in my basement yet. But he does. So we're gonna try to do like a live stream call, Zoom call together, and we may be talking about some big boys from Midas. So stick around. Rob, always a pleasure to have you around, man. It's always good to have you and knowledgeable people like you, Andy. Patrick is not here today. Patrick, come on. Also shout out to all the regulars that didn't write in the chat yet. Always a pleasure to have you around, guys. This community is so great. I'm keep repeating myself. Glad to have you around, guys. This community is so great. Together, not only myself, but together, we've built so much and we help so many people, and the knowledge that we bring to these live stream, even though some people complain that they are hard to watch, your call at that point. But for the few who spend the time to search out the information through these live stream, thank you very much for doing so, and I hope it's going to help you become a better sound engineer, become a better person. Maybe we can teach life, a good thing in life. We're gonna stick to live sound. First, coffee. And I should do this. I should try to do this. Post my coffee, which as proof, that has coffee in there. And I should do this and send this to Instagram Drinks on Console. Anybody want to take a screenshot and send this to Instagram Drinks on Console? Come on, do it. Now it's your time. Okay. Yeah, Patrick is probably asleep. They have around 40 Celsius right now in France. I know. I don't want to sound too alarmist, or don't want to sound too... I don't want to derive the purpose of this channel to talk about environment overall, but I think it's a fair thing to talk about and say, from what I heard on the radio, we're living the hottest month in history of Earth right now. Hello, Patrick. Not asleep. Sweaty is probably the right term, right? But we're living the hottest month in her history so far. This is what I heard from a reliable source on the radio, because I'm traveling a lot right now, so listen to a lot of radio. And it's a little bit alarming in the sense of, I don't know, guys. I don't know. They told us many, many years ago that we should slow down, and we didn't. And we're currently, I believe, we're seeing right now for a fact the consequence of whatever we're doing on Earth. And it's going to affect us. You guys probably saw my sunburn from last week, where I literally burned down during a gig. So having hot temperature, and here's a connection with the channel here, is probably going to affect us as working sound engineer out in the field during the summer. As much as I love doing outdoor gig in the summer, it's my favorite place to mix. Give me a nice sound system, give me a band, and a console that's sitting at half decent position, and I'm the happiest guy on earth. Like you saw in my vlog with the acoustic outside, mixed outside the tent, you can go really crazy with the effect and everything, but outdoor gigs are my personal favorite over everything. Even fully treated venue do not sound good as outside with a really good PA. So if we want to keep doing these and people just not falling down face first in festivals, we should take care of our little planet. It's not rocket science. Planet goes bad, we go out. Okay, we're not here to talk about that seriously, but I think it was a little fun quote to say that. Yeah, just a quick reminder. Do your part. Don't freak out. Don't turn your whole life around 360, but just try to be conscious of stuff and bugs and stuff around you before it's or end. Anyway, Patrick says, yeah, definitely sweaty. Temps are going slowly down, still 30s at this time. Thunderstorm forming. Yeah, thunderstorm will have a lot. So you're basically living what a summer is in Canada, because right now it's closer to normal. We're in the 30s. Storm. The only difference is from the last few years, we have really huge thunderstorm and tornado that was never seen before in Canada. Maybe once every blue moon, but now it's happening twice every summer that we have tornadoes, or a really small one, but still, it was not a thing before. So I don't know, guys. We should take care. Let me get back to Wilcomb's question he said a long time ago. I'm really sorry, but really sorry. We're gonna get there. A few minutes in, let's go. Is there a way to control the USB or SD card drive from the Wing Edit software that you know of? It seems that we have used the Wing Pilot software to access it remotely. Any idea? I did not have time to spend with the Edit software, so I will leave that to anybody in the chat. If you got the answer to this one, can you use the Wing Edit software to control the USB? Hold on, I want to get the right wording here. To control the USB or SD drive, so SD card drive from the Wing Edit software. Is there any way that we can do this, guys? I'm so busy right now, and I do not run a lot with the Wing lately. I'm using a lot of console. I'm slowly turning down the opportunities to use the Wing because I don't want to carry it. My back is still hurt from my car accident that I have a couple months ago. And I'm still recovering from that. So taking the Wing out from the basement myself, this thing is big. Lifting it like this to bring it out with the case, because right now you can't see it, but it's in a road case. So yeah, if I can use the local console for a few gig, I'll do so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Well, I don't want to use a wing rack. I want to use. I want to use a little wing. I want something that is 19-inch wide. I really want, and I said it before. Just take the screen, drop it where the totally useless channel strip is, and give me that part. And I want all the knobs in the center section to reflect everything on the console, and I'll be the happiest camper in the world. I don't need anything else. Move the custom control, maybe add a third bank and move the custom control over here. It's another option, but seriously, I just want the screen with fader. Or give me this part. Give me this part. Move the screen over here. Put some custom control on the left, because I'm left-handed. So put some custom control on the left here, just so I can play around with my finger. And I want 12 fader that I can assign with all my knobs here on the side. Okay. Thank you very much, Patrick, for the answer to Will's question. Also, yeah, it's a good. It's time for a shameless plug for Mr. Patrick Gilles Maillot, who is developing a lot of software that you can run on PC and some on Mac to go along with your wing. It's extra stuff that the console can respond to. So you got a really cool one for SD card. So if you want to record straight on SD card, not with a computer, just use the SD card on the wing to do some playback and punch in recording. He's got a software for that. He's got also great software to control the wing in different way. Go check out his website. Go check out his website, x32ram.com, x32ram.com. He's got stuff for the wing, stuff for the X32, and he's got a bunch of software, too many to name right now. So please go visit his website and maybe buy him a software, because he spent a lot of time on doing these, so you can enjoy them to do your fun project with the wing, with the X32. He's got a really cool one with the X32 and Reaper. So if you guys are running those platforms in your studio, if you're running with the wing, he's got also something for that in Reaper. But please go check out his website. He's got cool stuff over there, so you guys can make more or have more happening with your wing, depending on how you want to see it. By the way, I will have MJK, Finest Recording Studio in Taiwan, coming to France in the coming week, and we'll have a hangout on the Automate series. Oh, really nice. The other subject and other subject people want to talk about. So cool. Where would that happening, Patrick? Is it on your YouTube page? Is it where is that? Let us know. I want to make sure that people see that for sure. Do I have another question that I missed out? Yes, I believe I did. From Okay, an interesting one here from Dallas Sound Guy. Always love hearing stories about growing ones, business, finding more clients. Personally, I feel I could do 4 times what I'm currently doing. Oh, that's a really cool one. I don't know for you, but right now in the states of the thing here in province of Quebec, I cannot talk about anything else. I do not really. I go outside of the province to go with band, but I do not get hired really in other province or down in the States. I know some people try to get me down there to do some stuff, but it's not really happening. All I'm gonna say is I know the province of Quebec for sure. And right now we're so low on the amount of engineer and rental company that something's going to happen in the sense of I cannot keep going the pace that I'm doing right now. I'm doing many events and many bands a week, just this week alone. Actually, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday, I was doing shows, drove a few hundred kilometers, and mixed for a few hours. I cannot do this on different project, meaning that if I was on the same tour doing like a band, 2 bands a night for like 4 nights, 5 nights, even 6 in a row, I could do it. But because I'm bouncing between project right now, the logistic of that, the traveling, the hours, it doesn't make any sense. So we need people. Right now, in the province of Quebec, if you're a good sound engineer, you're gonna work. We need people here. I cannot supply the demand of shows. I cannot supply the demand of corporate event. And there's not a lot of companies still that can supply, because even if companies, shops, call them however you want, gear supplier, they do not have the staff. So, man, it's getting hard. I cannot do 200 events a year for the rest of my life. That's not gonna work. I need some time off, because 12 to 18 hour days, 6 days a week with traveling doesn't make any sense. I cannot do this. I cannot keep up with that. So I don't know what the States is where you are, but here we're missing a lot of people, and we need competent people to jump in, because right now the shit show, and excuse the expression, but the shit show that I'm seeing on festivals with people that never ever worked in the industry before welcoming headliner bands for festivals is too big. People that don't know what a TL4 is, people that don't know what a stage box is, people don't know what a subsnake is, even XLR. They call them mic cable. If I'm asking you for an XLR and you don't know, and you say, oh, you want a mic cable? You don't belong on a headliner stage. You're good to push case, sure. But with the years, the amount of cases to push has come down. Like, example A, I could do the sound for a whole festival, in-ears and front of house, with just a wing, a single stage box, a 3U stage box. Let's say I'm running a DL32. And that's it. Back in the day, it used to be a truck full of sound gear to get, EQs, like 12 stereo EQ, processing, compressor, effect rack. We don't need all that stuff anymore. So the amount of case that we need to push to slow down is smaller, but we need people with knowledge to operate these things. The wing, and I've said this before, the wing is the timeline. The wing on the timeline, I should say, is where it's separate, knowledgeable sound engineer and brothers-in-law in their basements. You cannot take a wing now, give it to somebody who run an analog console before, and say, go do a show. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way anymore. If you don't know what a patch system is, if you don't know how to turn on an EQ, you're not gonna make a show happen with the wing. The problem is not the wing. It's people who improvise themselves as sound engineer and end up sometimes in like way too big of a spot for them and do not deliver. And I had that happen to some of my friends, because right now I'm running with so many bands and I cannot like hit all four corners of Quebec at the same times. Like example, on Saturday, four of my project were having a show. I had to choose. So I took the one that was making more logical sense to me, like traveling wise, and I don't want to say pay grade wise because it's pretty much the same thing, but like I choose to do a run of 2 shows with the same artist instead of going like around everywhere. And I had to say for one band, well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to use the local guy. Cross your finger. On the phone, he seems nice. He's gonna do his best, but do we have good ear? Is he a good sound engineer? Who knows? So we need us, and I'm gonna put everybody here in the same categories of having good, knowledgeable sound engineer brain. We as a community need to make people know more about this stuff, and we need to make sure that if you see somebody beyond a console that doesn't belong there, say, okay, you're just not ready yet. Go learn about sound engineering. Have an idea of what you want to achieve before you jump back between a console and you start to do like crazy, stupid move. Like, and I saw this before, and I'm gonna blame anyone here in the chat if you're doing this. I saw some people mixing with gain. Example A, raising all your fader to 0 and just spending your night mixing with gain. Guitar solo, raising up the gain. Do you have any idea how it's destroying the sound on stage if you're doing monitor and you're doing this? Man. Okay, enough about me rambling about bad sound engineering and stuff like that. Let me see what's going on with the chat. Just want to read what's happening with Patrick here because I believe it's really important. And so, okay, Patrick stream will be on the Real Taiwan TV shows. The MGK is hosting every week. He normally talk about food and other Taiwan stuff. Specialty, but special from France. Announcement are on the Behringer World Forum. So okay, go check out that stuff. Go subscribe to Patrick and go check. Please, Patrick, do a post at least on your YouTube channel so everybody that can click on your name here can follow what's going on with you over there. I want all the people watching this to go support Patrick because he's been a personal support tech IT for me to his software, other stuff, and I believe he deserves to be followed. And you're gonna probably find that stuff interesting. So go check out Patrick's. Let me see what's going on. From Quincy, hello, what do you think about other people or sound company that build their own copy of a line array subwoofer box instead of buying the original ones? You guys want some hot take today, right? What's up, Sound 4K? Welcome. Hot takes number 2. Don't do that. Don't build yourself a line array. Or actually, hear me out. If you have the knowledge, like a Dave Rat, to build your own system, and you know what you're doing, you know about acoustics, you know about speaker placement in a wood box, you know the response, you know the phase inversion that will happen when the speaker is going to send a wave back in the bottom of that box. The way it's going to hit the back of the box, come back and affect the overall speaker, the amount of air movement, the amount of rejection in the back of that box, depending on the thickness of the material used. Sure, build your own line array, experiment, and make something good. And once you did your best physically with the speaker in the wooden box that you're doing, finish to correct it with a really good PA processing. Make sure it sounds good. Don't just put speaker in wood box and call it a line array with, phasing between the box. Because I've seen this. Somebody, it's a brand, it's a new brand that you probably never heard of, and they put a brand on their stuff. And once once I EQ the PA and make it sound half decent, they go, hey, it sounds good. I built it myself. And you go like, yeah, I could tell. I could tell that you built it yourself, or somebody in his garage, because you got some phasing issue. You got some, how can I say this with the right word? You got some dispersion of the sound. The projection of the sound is off. It's, the way that the angles on the PAs are facing are not right for the space that we're trying to cover. So it's not a bad sounding system. It's just not flexible, and all the engineering that goes into the real line array PA, you cannot replace that. You cannot replace knowledge. You cannot replace physics, and you cannot replace a real engineer that spent time in an anechoic chamber, tuning out a box, and design it so it has the box has the right angle and can flatten or open at the right amount of angle to you cannot do this in your garage. If you're doing it yourself, if you have the perfect planar production of a VDOS system from L Acoustics, and you're buying the good or right speaker for it, you just build yourself a VDOS, but you did not design the thing. If you're starting from scratch and you don't know what you're doing, and you're just like putting speakers in wood box, you just went back 50 years ago in the timeline of PA design. Now we have subwoofer that we can predict where the low end buildup will be, and you can add another subwoofer to that and phase reverse it and time align it, so you can create a cardioid pattern, so you know where to cancel that summation of subs, and you can make your stage not too rumbly. We have the technology. So also, money wise, tell me, where do you save money doing so? I know sound systems are pricey, but if you are building and spend hours and hours and hours and hours on building a sound system, for it to be okay at best, spend those hours working on something else, or something that people will pay you a boatload of money to do so, and spend that on a PA. Don't build it yourself. You're avid on some stuff. And okay, I'm gonna open up about not just being a PA design. On some stuff, it's not worth it to build it yourself. On some stuff, it do. If you, like, I'm really good at building snakes and soldering iron. I'm really good with soldering iron. There's some stuff that I'm gonna build myself that will make me save some money, that will make me a better product overall, and I'm getting a better product. What can I say other than having a good product is a good thing? On some other stuff, I do not have the tool or knowledge or time to spend on these, and it's not gonna worth it. Like, I was dreaming one day of building myself a console. Like, I have some idea to build myself a console, and I realize when I look at the Behringer wing, the amount of stuff that I get under the hood, the knowledge, the team around it, is not worth the $5,000 of the console. I will need to spend way more on these or on a console for me to DIY myself a half decent sound console. And with one firmware upgrade on something can destroy everything, because I do not have, the test team to build myself a remote control MIDI with a computer, and it's, for some stuff, it's not worth it. Like, it depends. Also, if you want to build yourself a small PA for yourself, you want to build yourself a monitor, a floor monitor, because you like the look of some floor monitor, and you say, oh, I would like to copy that design, and you can buy the parts, the amp, the speaker, and you just want to do the wood box yourself, sure, do it. That's going to work just fine. But if you want to build a line array, I would say that the amount of knowledge that you need is probably too much, and the amount of building engineering and skill that you need to do it is too much to get great results. You can make it work, but to get great results, something that can, fight with the cheapest line array that you can get from a reputable brand, like even something like from RCF or DB Technology. Those small line array are really good for the amount of money that you pay for them. With built-in amplifier, with everything, building something like that yourself will not make any sense. That's my hot take. Okay, let me see what's going on in the chat here, because I've been rambling for a lot of time. Finding PowerCon in box of speak on. Oh no, that's not good. Please tell me that nobody ever build a cable with PowerCon instead of speak on. Andy replied to the first question. Thank you very much, Andy, for doing so. Okay, sorry, with the rant today, I think I scared everybody off, right? You guys just are not. Okay, tell me, are you guys interested in that stuff or not? And you're allowed to say no, and I'm just not gonna start to do hot takes anymore, because I want to keep this fun, and I hope we're having a good time together. This is what I hope. You guys did not all left, so somewhat interesting. Okay, so not too often, Rob, if I believe so. Okay, let me fix something. There's a bug right now with my streaming output, and I'm just gonna try to fix that really quickly. Okay, YouTube should be happy. YouTube should be happier with what I'm sending right now. Good. Is this chat only session? What are we talking about here, Will? You... Lucky you, Rob, sitting outside drinking beer and eating pizza. Life can get any... well, life can get better, but you cannot do that outside. We're all adult here. Let's just have fun. Let's keep it PG friendly, YouTube family friendly, but let's say that yeah, there's some stuff that is funnier to do inside. Moving on. Did you guys found any bugs with the current version of the software, because this is something that I was talking the other day. A lot of people are waiting to do the upgrade because they don't hear much about the new firmware. And honestly, this is really good news, because if people are not complaining about the new release of the firmware, there's nothing wrong with it. So please do your upgrade and do your upgrade and don't look back. Question from Rob: what is the age span of your current viewers? Current viewers on the live stream, I don't know, but the overall channel is adult from 35 to 65 or 55, somewhere in those range. Basically, like, I'm getting the 35 to 55 white male from all around the world. 25% of them are from the States. That's my average YouTube viewer. Old, because I'm 36, so I'm gonna say old white dude. Okay, must point out, if you're watching this and you're feeling offended, know that everybody here is welcome, and I encourage people from everywhere in the world, no matter what your skin, age, religious beliefs are, women, sex, you can be whatever you want. I love everybody, and I want everybody in this community to feel welcome and understand. So if you have any question in the chat, we're talking about live sound. Okay, what can be out of place here? Not much. So I want to say, at large, everybody is welcome here, no matter where you're from, how you look, what you like, what you don't like, what you believe in or not. Everybody here is welcome. Ask your question. Patrick's the oldest. Hold on, 65? Patrick, I don't want to sound mean here, but my mother is 64. And I don't want to sound mean to you guys, but you're all 20 years old older than me. Bunch of 70, 65. Come on, guys. Really? Oh, okay. Really, really interesting. Because think about something. You guys see me, but I don't see you. So I'm talking like I would talk to a friend. And we're all friends here. But I didn't know that you guys were basically my dads. You could all, most of you guys who answered that, you could be my dad. Just gonna say it that way. I'm hanging out with a bunch of old dudes, but I'm having so much fun with you guys. Seriously. I'm having the best. I cannot have a better Monday afternoon than spending it with all of you guys here. It's wow. That's all I'm gonna say. We exchange information. I'm thinking about a bunch of stupid stuff that I should not say right now, but yeah, actually, it makes sense that we're a bunch of old dude hanging out together. We're having a coffee, we're hanging out. What there is to do after you're retired, right? Around 55. Okay. Hold on. Let me get back. There is some question that makes sense here from a lot of people. Bonjour. Telegraph Road Tribute, the Dire Strait. Hello. Would be your slightly older brother, 38. Yeah, okay. All good. I'm all fine with that. I mean, I'm having a good time. It doesn't matter with It doesn't matter how old you guys are. There could be a 20 years old, 18 years old, 15 years old in the chat, and as long as you would like to hear what we have to say, or have to say, or us together have to say, it's good, man. Sharing knowledge is a new life goal for me. Because, actually, you know what? We're not talking about, we're degrading. Let's go into personal stuff here. I had some life-changing event happening in the last few months. And the positive outcome of that, and apply this to your work too. The positive outcome to that is it reminded me that life is short and I want to spend it, and I want to spend every single second of it with good people. Put yourself into that category if you want. But I want to surround myself with good people. I want to surround myself with people that maybe can learn something from me, because I'm just out there pulling out stuff. And feel free to grab what you want and leave behind what you don't relate to. But if I can spread happiness, spread knowledge, make this world a better place, was a life goal for me when I was a kid. I started the band when I was 15, didn't make it to more than 5 rehearsals, but my ultimate goal was to make this world a better place. I somehow did it with this YouTube channel, somehow did it, in the sense of I'm helping a lot of people watching those videos, getting knowledge, get to know a console better, make artists perform better on stage, or spread a message. This one goes out to all the church guy out there. You want to spread a message of love and happiness. And I'm not religious, by the way. I'm total atheist here, and I'm not afraid of it. But my life goal, being an atheist or not, is to make this world a better place. And forget about the religion and everything. But now that I've realized that life is short, and I need to spend every second of it, to try to enjoy every second of it as much as I can, I made it a life goal to put that more forward into my life. Helping out people make this world a better place. It could mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but it's been my goal. I didn't know it wasn't my goal when I was a kid, or I didn't phrase it out that way, but I want to make this place better. And I've already did it a little bit, and I want to keep pushing on that. This is why I'm slowly turning down artist and show options, and I want to focus a little more on YouTube. I want to make a little more vlogs, so I want to take some times to film more on shows. And I want to spread a good message. Good. Could be whatever. Could be about anything. But I want to switch my life to be whatever, to spending it out, making goods around me, making people happy, and make artists perform better as a sound engineer, because there's no way I'm ever going to be up on stage spreading out my message. So I want to stick to the people, or I'm trying to stick more towards people that have a good message that I want to broadcast, because that's my job. I'm picking out information from a band, and my job is to make it, replicating it as loud as possible into a PA. And I somehow see life this way now. And I just want to make life better. It's been my goal. And eventually retired. I've got to try to retire around 55, if that ever makes sense, because I want to enjoy life as much as possible as a retired guy. And I want my life to be good. That's not on record. Okay. Let me get back to some question on top. I heard you mention earlier having a sound engineer shortage. I was talking about with an LD from the Netherlands the other day, and he says the same. In your opinion, why are engineers so hard to find? And I'm gonna talk about my demographic here, because I don't know what Europe is like, or Netherlands, or not really the States. Well, the States, I have a couple friends down there, so I kind of know how the business looks because I'm talking with them. But the reason in my demographic in Quebec is because it's so hard to make a living out of this that you have to work really hard and get lucky to really make a good living out of this. The sound engineer, like Patrick is saying, are really hard to find, period. The good ones. Just regular, techs or roadie or crew or stagehand, call them however you want. They are easier to find because the amount of knowledge required to do just regular stage and stuff is smaller. You don't need as much knowledge as to sit behind a console. But the schedule makes no sense at all. Loading in a festival at 6 a.m, working until 1 or 2 a.m, and starting over the next day, sleeping in 4 hours, and you do that for like a week. And after that, in condition where it's really hot outside, you're almost never in the shadow, you're walking in the dirt, dust and festival and stuff like that. As an example, I'm just thinking of what's happening right now in downtown Montreal, not downtown, but the island, where we have all the events in Montreal, all the festival, all the Osheaga, all the Heavy Montreal, all the Sonic Island, those festivals are run by the same crew. Those guys are working insane amount of hours, get their toll on their body, mental health. And when you have a kid coming in, especially with the new generation post-COVID that say, I don't want to burn myself, I want to have a good life, I want to have a good, healthy, long life, it doesn't stick. And it makes sense to me. Why? Because when you ask someone, well, would you like to work in the mud for 12 hours with wet shoes, and you're gonna get a free lunch if you go over a 6 hour of work straight with no break, you're gonna get a free lunch, and you gotta get paid X amount of money. Good money. But when the kids look at that and they go like, oh no, there's no way I wanna, roll in the mud for 12 hours or walk for like hours. I understand those kids. If sound engineering was not my passion, I would never do those things. And even now, as I don't want to call myself a senior sound engineer, but I've been doing this for like 20 years. Starting 20 years ago. Did my thing for like 10, 15 years in those corporate events, and did my fair share of festivals, setting up stage line in the middle of a field with no water. I've done that. If you give me those options nowadays, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would take it. And the lights goes off. But seriously, I believe it's a hard job that is not made for everybody. And because the filtering of the industry is go out and work all those events as a stage hand to finally get your chance to be on a mixing console. Some people don't want to do the work. They don't want to go through working countless hours for nothing in a bar. Learn to mix. Make yourself, prove yourself to other people working as a stagehand, and you go next to the sound guy at the end of the shift, and you try to stay over in between the split shift, because most of the time shows are split shift. Coming in the morning, you're on break or out for a couple hours, and you come back for the loadout. Rock and roll shows or corporate event is kind of the same thing, and some people stick with the sound guys and ask questions between those down hours on their own. If you don't want to spend those hours, you're never gonna end up being behind a sound console, even if you go study wherever you want, because that's the catch with all those tech school. They're gonna teach you how to use a SSL console. They will tell you that you're gonna mix, and I heard that for real, that you have the qualification to do a studio record for Celine Dion. Once you're out of that school, you're never gonna ever gonna give your resume to somebody with those qualifications, and he's never gonna put you behind a console. Because I did that for myself, and I'm gonna say I did the mistake myself of taking a new school, graduated from sound engineering from a reputable school here in Montreal. Put the guy behind the console. He never touched a digital console before. I had to show him because it was his first day, and I didn't know. Show him some stuff. Okay, you don't know this one. Well, okay, that's the view, that's the home button, and that's your channel strip, and that's the output. I'm gonna raise your bus and stuff like that. So this is where your bus are. Raising the main out. I gave him the console, and even after that, he had to admit that he had no clue how to do a live band, and he did some weird stuff when it came to like stuff feeding back, because he never learned about feedback into his course, because in a studio there's no feedback. Everybody has headphone, you just like crank the gain, compress, do your thing, and mix that loud. And the reality of live sound engineering and what the school teaching you is two different things. Once kids who go study to be sound engineer in studio engineer, once they get released in the wild world and they're not skilled, or they've been lied to on what the job is, they just don't know what to do, and they give up, and they go like to the grocery store, like do some facing, like I did when I was 16. I did that for one day. I did facing at night and filling up the alleys of the grocery store, and I did that for one night, and I quit middle shift, and I said, I'm gonna be a sound engineer because it's my passion. It's what I want to do. It's my passion. And I've been doing this for 20 years. Since I was 16. So it's been 20 years. Knock on wood that I have way more years in front of me. But I believe it's because the job is too hard, and it's not made for everybody. And with the thinking of the new generation right now, because we're all a bunch of old dudes, like we just realized, the kids nowadays, and if you're in that generation and do not belong, please make yourself heard. But the kids nowadays don't want to get their hands dirty because they've been told not to get their hands dirty, to get a great job, go to university, learn something, learn a good skill or a bunch of good skill, and you got to get a good job. But it's not working out this way, and sound engineering is one of the industry where you need to get your hands dirty, you need to do long hour to go through the filter, and eventually after many years you're gonna make it out as a sound engineer that has a living. But even myself now, because I ended up over the filter being classified as a good sound engineer here, I'm getting so many calls, and I tried to help so many people, and I tried to make it so I can make a living out of this, that I end up with too much on my plate. I have too many shows, too many different projects that sometimes fit together, sometimes doesn't, and I end up sometimes disappointing people because I'm not available for their shows. And other time it's just when I can make everything work out, I sleep 4-hour drive. I did that last Friday. Did a show, drive 4 hours to go to the gig from my house, did the show, wrap up at 11 at night, went to the hotel, midnight I was in my bed. I had to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I slept 4 hours, drive 400 kilometers, spend the night, spend the end of the rest of the night driving. 9 in the morning, I was at the place of the festival that I was running. I start to set up at 9. I did the whole day doing the changeover myself, doing the mixing, wrapping up everything, and go to bed. I was paid for my job. People paid me. But do you know the toll on a body doing something like this? And I'm not using anything when absolutely not needed. So I'm not even taking Tylenol when I'm like, don't need them. So trust me, I don't drink Red Bull. I don't do any other weird stuff that your body should not ever have to deal with. It's really hard. It's a hard job. So I believe, seriously, that's the reason why. Because once if you watch a guy like me, if I was a 16 years old that watch a guy like me doing all that stuff, and I go, hey dude, you know, this is what you need to do to make this like working, I would give up. If I was not really passionate about my stuff. So that's the hot take about why I believe there is no, yeah. And also, yeah, forgot about that, Rob. Wrapping beer-infused cable at 4 in the morning is fun. Yes, thanks God I'm over that. You know, when you, okay, I'm old and you guys are old, so you're gonna know this one. You know, in those festivals when you're wrapping up the snake at around 3 in the morning and it's wet and you go like, oh, there was probably some mud around the snake where it was run. I hope this is water in the place where the snake was run. I'm over that now. I don't run snakes anymore. I don't run, you know, big TL4 and 50 pairs for 100 meters from the stage to the front of house. And I hope that it's only mud and water on those cable. So, yeah. Actually, beer infused was more when in my bar days, when somebody at some point was spilling a beer on the cable, the bunch of cable that I cleanly placed, you know, clean around the monitors, and somebody just dropped his beer into it. Ugh, the good old days of bar shows. I don't do those that often anymore. Okay. You guys said a lot of good thing for sure in the chat when I was rambling about nothing, or the state of why my life is, my body is so hurt. From Mike, do you remember our first profile gig? What are you talking about? Our first or your first? And speaking of age, by the way, guys, I'm still 16. I'm just 16 with 20 years of experience. Patrick says, you retired as OVH R&D director, but I've never be busy as right now. Yeah, choosing my own project is the best thing. Making software, guitars, playing in band, playing with the CNC. Lucky you got a CNC. Oh yeah, I wish I could get there, because you know the fun thing is, when you're a freelance sound engineer like me, is if I don't want to work, I don't have to. I can just say that I'm not available for the day that somebody called me for, and I'm just not available. So my plan is to, for next year, to do a little less show, a little more YouTube, a little more playing with wood and tools, and taking care of my house, because now I bought a house. So, and eventually, maybe moving out of the house. I'm still thinking about figuring out a way to be a full-time RVer that makes sense for me to do YouTube and to do the event and to still have a job if I have to leave Canada for 3 months. Because if you don't know, if you don't know, because I'm in Canada and everything start to freeze after October. So as soon as you enter November, it's usually snowy outside. You cannot like have you cannot do an RV living outside because your pipe will just freeze and you will run out of water. If you cannot, wash, you cannot drink, it's kind of hard to live. So if I have to leave from November to, let's say, April 1st, I need to figure out a way to be able to work in those periods of time, maybe down in the States, and also get work back when I come back, let's say after April or March. Let's go March. Let's say that I'm going to be here at the 1st of April. So if I need to figure out a way to get a job from April to November, and after that leave down in the States, and that will be my perfect way of living in a huge RV, if I can. I'm still figuring out how to do this. I think I will have to retire at 37 to make that happen. But maybe, if that can help me to achieve my new life goal, we'll see. Oh, Benoit. Even though I started system way before, I knew I was there during the crossover period. I knew the big analog console with not so good PA, and nowadays in the last 20 years things have evolved so much. There is no reason. The game has changed so much that it doesn't matter anymore what I used to live. Okay, let me rephrase that. It doesn't matter if you just started during COVID or you started 20 years ago. See what's on the market right now and make the best use of that. That will be my advice. Sorry, I just tried to read the chat, guys. I think it was a great answer, honestly. It's the same here. Mississippi is hot. Small treatment crew working for 3 to 4 days on 4 hours sleep a night. Yeah. Have to be a little bit crazy to do these things. Exactly. It's not that's the game. I don't really agree with what the game is. And especially in the States, you guys are lucky that you can get a band that is doing enough dates so you can do just like a single band for a bunch of days. But here in Quebec, because I'm gonna talk from a band perspective. You're really, really lucky if you're playing every weekend, and week shows are really, really a few parts. Really far and few apart. That only during the summer. Sometimes the cities have smaller bands set up where you could do acoustic duos. On a Wednesday afternoon in the park. But for a band to line up 50 shows a year here is a lot. Some of the biggest band or most active artists are doing 100 shows a year. That's 2 shows a week, every week. Even at $500 a pop, it's $1,000 a week as a sound engineer. If I were to follow one artist that we're doing 100 shows a year, it's only, and with a grain of salt, it's only 50 grand a year. which will make you have a living. But having a house on 50 grand a year here with the interest rate that we have is hard. By yourself, it's harder. So you have to work more. And you try to move. I try to jump around between projects that have, 3 on 1 week, 4 here, 2 here, 2 here. And this is how I end up with around 200 show a year, plus the corporate event. With the corporate event that are usually happening daytime in the week, I can make a living out of this. But I have to, to jump between so many projects to make that happen that it's really time consuming and really hard on me, sleep hours, having a life. I wish now that I could be, with a band in a tour bus doing 100 show a year in 4 months, like a real tour of the US of like smaller places that just go like crazy. But it doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. There's not enough people for me to make that happen. So forget about that. Yeah, don't forget about the smoke. Yeah, when Canada's on fire, it's also harder for you to breathe. Do you have an opinion about using Class D amp on hi-fi speaker instead of using AB class amplifier? No. I'm sorry, I don't have the knowledge or the experience with hi-fi speaker first. But all I'm gonna say is, well, if it works, it works. I don't know. I literally, now I was thinking that to myself the other day. I play around with huge hundred thousands of watt PA every weekend. I have a setup of speaker in my studio, which is the powered the Neumann. If you ever want to see how I've them set up, I have a video about that. And those are the only speakers that I have in my house. I do not own any Bluetooth device. I do not have messed with my car stereo speakers. I do not have anything else to listen to music. I listen to music in my studio or in a big PA, and that's about it. I don't play around with home theater stuff at all. I have no time to enjoy them, and honestly zero interest into those. But no, maybe some people in the chat here have opinion about that, but I just use pretty much Class D amp all the time with those PA, because let's be honest, every PA now is running Class D amplifier to power up so many watts of power. To fire so many watts of speakers, you need Class D. It would make no sense for the PA system to use AB stuff. Okay, you guys really know about the power amplifier. You guys are really good with that in the chat. Thank you very much, guys, for spreading information that I don't know about. This is why we're here. And actually, is there? Okay, just for funsies, because today it's just been a rant for an hour, right? I'm about to call this therapy, public therapy with you guys. Just for fun, because I didn't do it yet. My console was on this whole time. That camera was on this whole time, even though we didn't use it. Because nobody asked any questions about the wing today. And it made me think. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should keep doing all these live stream every Monday, because a longtime viewer had him on. That his ear asked me, how do you do a show on a console every week? And at first I was like, well, there's always new people coming in and need to have information about, the console, and there's a new firmware update that's going to change things. But lately, since nothing is really happening, and I see in the question, in the live stream, slowly starting down. Like people, we used to talk about the console a lot, and I was doing a little, live thing just to fill the gaps because I have to keep this entertaining. I'm doing, even though we're really relaxed, we're just a bunch of guys hanging out together, I need to keep this show at least entertaining for you to, stick around. So I have to fill the blank. But nowadays, every live stream, I was getting 20 questions, 19 questions, 18. And today we had 0. I believe it's the first time that we have absolutely 0 about the console. Maybe because the new firmware is good, like Patrick just said. But I've been noticed that trend lately, and I'm just debating if I should keep going with these live streams. And I'm pretty sure you guys will say yes, because you're all here every week. And I, again, cannot thank you enough for doing so. Spending your time here, it's awesome. Even if you guys are on vacation, like Rob. Okay, sound question from Arjun. What's up, man? Didn't see you before. Did you just join in? It will give me the option to use the console. How do you set gain on the wing? Oh man, really? Do you want me also to show you to patch the console? Because that's the question that I probably answered the most. And routing with the wing where people did not get what was happening. Routing on the wing is hard. Even myself, sometimes when I try to do like some weirdo stuff, when you take an input from the front of house console to the monitor and take those like stage box and but I'm gonna catch that one, Andy. All those bugs will be fixed with the new firmware to be released soon. Seriously. The amount of... Yeah, you all know. We all read the Facebook. People complaining about anything and want everything to be fixed really quickly. Just learn the damn thing. I know there is no manual, but we're the manual. Everybody here... Everybody here knows the console in and out. Okay, William got a decent question here. Thank you, man, for doing so. Before I answer Arjun, I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, what about the show and snap stuff? So creating a show and then creating snaps inside the show in combination with Sick. I need to do a video on this, but I did not, and I'm honest about this, I did not take time to read all the documentation and understand how the things are working. Because for most of my personal setup, I just use a snap and call it a day. I'm not the kind of guy that like to do show per song, because at some point the artist's gonna skip a song or they're gonna start the wrong song and everything's gotta like be out of places. So I'm more of doing like a single rock and roll gig with, I want this to be my basic setup and I'm gonna tweak, adjust based on that. But it's true that I should definitely show how to do a show file, which is basically a container for all your snap file, and do some cues with the playback. Because I believe if you really know what you're doing with the wing, you can have all your playback happening from the console, probably being triggered by a USB or OSC command from the stage, and you can probably get some absolutely amazing automation starting from operating the console. Like doing some crazy stuff. Like I'm talking about, and I'm gonna take a good crack here. I'm talking about Digico level kind of stuff. But yeah, William. Okay, you guys just joined in, right? What's happening? Where were you for the last hour? Okay, first let me answer Arjun's question. And I want to make sure that I read that correctly, and I want to make sure we got the right subject. When you're talking about system alignment, we're talking about delay here, or do you want to talk about EQs? Because those are two different things, and people can mistake them one between another. So please, before I start ranting again, please let me know if you want to talk about aligned physically or EQ'd out a system, because those are two different things, both dependent one on the other, but those are absolutely two different things. Apparently the routing on the HD96 is hard. Well, if I figure out a Pro 2, I can probably figure out a HD96. I believe so. Could be wrong, but I believe in myself. Oh, Quincy, you're a PreSonus user. Oh, poor you. No, seriously. I don't know about the new PreSonus stuff, but I used to use the Studio Live 24, and it was the most confusing console I've ever seen. Like, did not take the user into consideration. It was harder than the wing, period. On every single step of not really routing and gain, because everything was still one-to-one, but man. No PreSonus for me. Thank you very much. You guys did, PreSonus did really good interface back in the day, affordable interface, but now, no way that I'm ever gonna switch to PreSonus with the current lineup or what I'm aware of from their product. It's not bad, it's just not user-friendly and professional enough for me to enjoy that. Sorry, PreSonus. Change my mind. Send me some stuff. Send me some free stuff that I can compare with my experience from the previous one before. Okay, let me read what's happening here. From Arjun, how can we connect two wing with the same stage box, like doing a separate front of house and monitor mix? That's really easy. Hey, let's use the camera for the wing to do that. What you need to do is to go in the routing menu. We want to go into output, and you want to select the output of the console that you want to select basically where your front of house console is, because most of the time we set the stage box on stage. Next to that is the monitor control, and most of the time it will be the one that will take care of the gain. So you take a second cable from your stage box. Let's say that you connect your stage box into port AS50A. Usually you're gonna take port B for your front of house wing. On that output B here, you unlock the patch, and you select what you want to send into this. So if you are doing stage box in port A, you want to go here, port B, and you want to send all your input from your stage box that will be connected into A. You will see them popping up in the bottom. You will see your front of house wing here, and you want to go like all output, all signal from A, and you want to send that out into B. So you take your A, take your B, that's the one. Am I right? Yes. And you will do something like this for all 32 inputs of your stage box, and this is how you send out 32 channel from port A straight out into port B. But you might also need to do some other stuff, like let's say, oh, I want to use my talkback mic and send that out to front of house. So if I need, to talk to him, I can, say, hey, hold on, we're missing phantom power here, mute that, so it doesn't go like a big pop in the PA. So you take your local mic, which is in my case, not local output. I need my local input, so I'm gonna go source, local in, 8, I'm gonna go here. Am I doing this totally wrong? Am I freaking out and doing this totally wrong on stream? No, I'm not. Okay, so where? You see, where is my local input? Source. So, do I need to go? Okay, local in. Oh no, I did this totally wrong. So, okay, you need to have on the right. Let me start over again, because, man, this console is confusing. Output group B. This is where you will have your front of house console, and those will be your source. So in port A, see, it makes more sense now that I have that on. You will want to assign to your front of house console that will be displayed here, which will make things easier and avoid mistake. You will take that and you will send whatever you want to send in there. So again, we're gonna go with 32 input of channel coming from a stage box, and we're gonna go 32 here. Let me go to 32. And let's say that you also want to send your talkback or other stuff. You're gonna go the other way around and take your local in and send that to 33. And you can also send other stuff in there. You can also say, oh, I'm gonna have some playback coming from the USB player. So in 3940, I'm gonna send you the playback left and right, but I'm gonna keep for myself the click. Let's say the click and cues that will come from the other two. It will come from the other two tracks available on the USB, so you don't send that to front of house. But also, let's say that you have something in the local in, let's say MC mic coming from the local in 1/4 inch in aux 8. You can also send that into 34 to the front of house console. And the front of house console will set the input to be like port A or port B, depending on where the cable was connected on the back of the console, and set that as its source. So you're gonna go here. Let's say that you will have all your source, and you can come here to channel and say that my stuff coming from port B of the monitor 1 coming in here. You will have all your channel displayed here. And if you set your source right, if you come here and you set your source right, you name them, you add some label, you can have the label to connect to the other console. The name displayed on the source will be displayed on the console. And in your channel, if you keep it as a channel, I'm just gonna go here. On a channel, if your name and icon is sent link customization to source, it will display whatever the source is. So if I come here and I go AS50A, the source is labeled kick and my channel is just named kick. Now it's just swap. So I hope that I made that not too confusing for you. I just made the mistake myself of having stuff badly labeled because I'm still having a hard time myself after 3 years to know what is in what order in the routing menu, and I'm still getting confused. Hope that answered your question. Let me go back. You guys wrote a lot of stuff. So to set up channel and EQ. I will need to take a look at that, William, and I need to relearn that stuff, William, basically, is what I'm gonna say, because the new system is a little bit confusing. Like, I just add an example myself, and I'm not afraid to make mistake. The only mistake that I can do is not correct the mistake that I make. And yeah, it's still confusing to me. This console is still sometimes confusing. I know how to make sound out of it, but when it comes to routing and recall safe, and it's still changing, and I'm still wrapping my head around doing so. Tomorrow I have a gig with an orchestra, 56 input, 2 pairs, only 2 pairs stereo channel with my wing. I would normally use a Digico SD9 48FOH, will be an SD8. I will have to patch some input as insert or bus. What you could do, if you have an orchestra, is you can probably pair out some stuff. You can probably pair out a couple of violins, a couple of, instruments that are really similar one to another. And what you can do to choose how you want to mix them is you take stuff that is, again, really similar. And we're going to do an example here. We're going to take this, we're going to make that a stereo pair. So 1 and 2, it's going to be your stereo kick drum, for this example. In the trim and balance section, this is where you'll be able to blend between the two if you ever play around with the balance. But hold on, this is not where I want to go. Sorry, here, my bad. I'm gonna correct the mistake that I made so I didn't make a big mistake, just a small one, and small mistake can happen to everyone. Okay, to take 2 sources that are really similar when you're running out of input, and to mix them correctly, you can start playing around with the width. If you take 2 sources and put a width, or if you take a stereo source and put a width of 0, it's going to be both source being broadcast to the center, so basically to the left and right at the same level. With a width of 0, if you change your pan, you can change the amount of those source being sent out into your main bus. You can open them a little bit, playing around with this, the pan and the width, but you can do this to play around with 2 sources and make them a single dual mono source and play with the level this way. So if you set your gain to the higher one, and let's say that the right one is a little too hot, or the left one's a little too hot, you play around with the pan with the width of 0, and it's gonna give you it's gonna allow you to mix both mono source to the right level as 2 mono source. But you are stuck with 1 EQ for both of them. You're stuck with 1 type of compression for both of them, and you're stuck with 1 insert. Everything else has to be shared. I'm not saying this is a perfect workaround, but if you have no choice, that's one way to get yourself out of trouble with not having enough input. I would do that like on stuff that is really similar, like I would say. Or the same player that is doing, I don't know, situation where I know I can get away with this is like on bass drum floor toms, or on 2 bass drums on floor tom. I'm probably gonna get really close to those instruments. Let's say 2 bass drum tuned well to the same pitch. I can get away with that. Or an in-out microphone. Well, that will be trickier because the EQ is really not the same. But let's say like you have 2 small drum toms, or stuff that is not really stereo. You can probably do a small amount of width and get your tom, left and right, almost center. Play with the pan to make sure that they all balance at the same level. And EQ wise, well, you can take the decision of having the same EQ on them. You can just, have their drummer like play both at the time and you decide on an EQ that will fit them. It's a workaround. It's not a perfect, it's not creating input channel. It's just a workaround for that. And you can probably do the same thing for a snare and snare bottom. You just go with the width to 0, and you need to have like a physical. Actually, can you put out of phase one of the two input on a stereo strip? Is that something that can be done? I don't know if I covered that before. I believe you cannot. So if you have a physical phase reverse, you can probably phase reverse your snare bottom mic, put your top mic on, and with the width again, with the width of 0, panning between your, let's say panning between your input 1 left, that will be your snare top, and adding some snare bottom, and because of the width of 0, it will result in that channel to be sent to the center, and you can probably get away with that. Those were the kind of move that I would do if I was really in trouble and needed to do this. Hold on, you guys said some interesting stuff, and I would like to read every single one of you. Explain both delay and EQs. Oh, that will be for a long time. Okay, let me go to the chat quickly, and I will start to do this, and I will go fast over this because I don't want to spend like an hour again doing PA EQ. Sorry, I just tried to read what's going on here, guys, because you got some really cool advice in the chat, and I don't want to repeat myself when I read a question. I want to make sure that it's not been answered like 5 seconds after that. Hold on. Yeah, I did this wrong like the Pro 2 series, right? Yeah, I'm sure I did it exactly like you would on the Pro 2 for the patching thing, Bubba. So firmware delay for the new stage box, or not delayed, but firmware is on the work for the new stage box update. So guys, stick around if you have a DL32 that needs an upgrade. Hold on, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. Just listen to the background music. Is it calming? I choose this one because I believe it's calming. So maybe I will do. Music upgrade after a while. It's been 3 years, right? Patrick says, just remember in and outs in the routing are always from the weighing point of view. Not for you as a sound guy. Avoid the confusion we all make. Yeah, I don't know. Can we turn that around? It's been my biggest complaint about the wing so far. The routing system is not the way I think it worked, and even after a while, I'm still making those like mistake. I know last month somebody saw me coming on the show. It goes like, "Oh man, I got a wing in front of us. Can you help me?" It was like, "Sure." And he said, "I cannot get my wing to talk with the other one." So and I did, okay, go exactly what I just did monitor wise. Go, the one on monitor is going to be an X32, so I'm going to take the stuff, ran 2 cable, one from the stage box to the wing and one from the wing back to the stage on the X32. And I did exactly the same mistake. We had to do this twice, and I go like, oh man, I got it wrong, because I'm getting it wrong all the time. And now I'm gonna probably be good for a while, and after that I'm gonna keep forgetting about it. But if things pan out the way I want them to be, eventually there will be a HD96 Air. I know I keep bringing that up, but eventually there will be a HD96 Air or a smaller version of the HD96 to be released. And if that get released, I'm gonna say bye-bye to my wing. It will be up for sale, and I will move on to the HD for a while, because I believe the HD will be a better option. It will be a little bit smaller, and I can carry it around a couple flights of stairs easier, because you have to think that I have to carry this by myself, and it has to fit into the back of my smart car. And trust me, when I'm going out on a gig on my own, I'm bringing my wing, my DL32, and a couple of mic stand and cables, and snake, all in the back of my smart car. There is not much room left, to be honest, but I can always make it happen. So yeah, it's the plan for me, is just to downsize a little bit. So I would like to have a smaller cash register with a touchscreen on it to do some really nice processing on some live stuff. Arjun, did you try to playing music from a thumb drive and try to stop after one song? Doesn't go to the other automatically. I should make a video on that, because there's a way to do a playlist now with the USB player. So definitely, I will do this. Patrick just told you that. I should read the chat before answering question, guys. Also, yeah, sometimes thumb drives, they give you trouble. So just playing around with the setup, USB-O speed, sometimes it can face your problem. I know it was a problem for me when I first tried to do the update to 1.13. So try different settings. Sometimes it can fix that. Is there a way in the setup to play all waves sequentially? I don't recall honestly. I believe there is, right? If I go, no, that's the SD card. Well, I believe you can just come here, USB, and create a playlist. If I'm showing it to you guys, if you click on the USB, because I was there, click on the USB, go USB. And oh, there's an add all button here. I'm sure if you select all, it will go. You can probably make sure that it's going to play continuously, or otherwise you can probably create a playlist. I cannot, because I don't have any USB key at the moment. But create a playlist, and I'm pretty sure you can get away with that in a couple of clicks. I don't believe that the wing will ever update to 96K. I believe it's a branding. It's not because the console cannot do it. I believe it will be a branding thing, and also the amount of in and out with the port will not match. So because AS50 port is only 24 channel with No, actually, it will work, but I don't believe so. Same as the M32 will never have the 96K option. It was a selling point that I don't even know if it's written on the Midas website anymore, but I know they said that for a while, but I don't believe that it will ever come out. When you go to routing input source, you have a polarity button, Guillaume, for okay. Let me see. So when we go to the, hold on. Routing source, you have a polarity button. So this is a stereo source. Can you do polarity on just one of them? Oh, you can, actually. Okay. So the 2-channel, yeah, it's the pole. I was looking at here. I was not looking at here. I just don't use it that often from here because I believe it's also here on the channel strip. So this is where I usually invert the polarity. So in the routing section, you can have a stereo source with different polarity, which makes total sense. So yeah, if you want to do the snare bottom mic on a single channel, if you have the option, I would not do this. But if you really want to have a snare bottom mic and you're fully loaded out, what you could do is create a stereo source with a width of 0 and use the pan to blend between your snare top and snare bottom. That will work as a workaround. I would not suggest you to do this. Use 2-channel, use separate gating, and use separate EQ probably on both of them, because I want to cut usually the low end in the snare bottom mic way higher because it's really close to the bass drum, and that microphone is going to pick up as much bass drum as snare bottom. So try to treat them as two different things combined together. All right. So we've been going at this for a long time now. We've reached an hour and a half, I believe so. Yeah, pretty much. So, guys, as much as I love you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, I believe that I love you, every single one of you, for joining in this live stream. I'm gonna call it a day for now. We answered a couple questions about the wing, but like I said before, it's going further and further in between question with the console. I think we start to having it like, you know, covered a little bit for even the new people that are coming in, watching my stuff. I see slowly like a change in a view for the vlogs versus the view for the stuff on the wing. So I don't know. I just don't know where I'm going with this YouTube channel, but I want to spread happiness. I want to spread love. I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to also, before we go, make sure that you like this video. Don't send little hearts in the chat. Make sure that you like that video. That really makes a difference. Make sure that you subscribe, that you ring the bell so you know when I'm doing these live stream, and we'll see what happened with the state of this channel, as long as I can spread love to everyone. On that note, again, take care of yourself, and I will see you guys for sure next week. Have a good one, guys.